All right, for the femmes, what do they like behind closed doors? What do they like? Okay, so femmes are just as fluid as masks in some ways because I feel like masks have different preferences in the bedroom too. Like not all of us like the same things, and that goes for femmes. So there's what I will say is these I wrote out here preferences. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and say them and try to explain them as I go. Okay, so first of all, I'll say I'm Izzy. I'm a butch lesbian. I'm a mask. I'm a top. I have a strap, and I'm a top. Okay, I do receive, and I do give within a relationship. I'm open to any touching. There's certain things that I just don't really, I'm not into, but I'm into a lot of any touching, feeling. I don't really have many restrictions above my waist or below my waist. I'm not into the penetration. That just doesn't happen for me. Okay, because I'm only a top. Um, there are other things that we I am into, um, as it relates to non-strap things, which is fine as long as it's not the going in. Okay, and that's me, and that's those are my sexual preferences. And my femmes, the femmes that I've been with, the femmes you will meet, the femmes you will see, will have their own sexual preferences. Okay, and you just take things slow in that area with them, and then just make sure you're on the same page with what you're into and what they're into, communicating properly, and maybe setting some, seeing what the expectations are too. But definitely always just communicating, okay, of what you're into prior to starting, and always having consent for everything is key. Um, I usually like to let women seduce me. I rarely seduce women, and there are reasons for that. But I let them usually come on to me. They bring it to me. They start feeling a certain way, a certain vibe. Sometimes the kissing turns into this, turns into that. Things start happening. And if things get to a certain point and I'm ready to go, I will say, I'm ready to go. How do you feel about that? You ready? And then we can go. So, how romantic, right? Such a top. It's like, I'm ready for this. You ready? Let's do this. I had one ex girlfriend that wasn't too into that, but another one, she was like, oh, she was. She's like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go now. Let's go. It wouldn't even be like in her area. She'd be like, yeah, texting me pictures. I'm like, oh. She's like, when are you coming? I'm like, oh God. So again, we all have preferences, all of us. Okay, so there's femmes that the femmes that I'm into are what's called bottoms. It's like that movie Bottoms. I think it was on Amazon Prime, probably Prime or Hulu. Yeah, there's a movie called Bottoms. So bottoms are the ones who are receiving. I will say the strap for the only right now again. Then after that, I'm just gonna say receiving. Okay, so they're the ones that are receiving you. Those are bottoms. And I feel like for me as a mask, my whole mask identity is being a top. That's me. But that might not be you. You might be a switch. And if you're a bottom, um, I mean, these qualities can help you, but embodying masculinity too much might repel the masculine in her. If you want her to top you, she might not be topping you as much because you both are at the same energy level. And sometimes sexuality needs polarity, and you need that opposites to attract. So I'm just telling you now that this is what exists, but there's certain sexuality preferences that don't work unless you're both switches. Okay, so I like bottoms. Bottoms like me. Switch. A switch is somebody who either gives or receives on the penetrating side. Um, they call power bottoms the ones that are still doing work, even though they're at the bottom. That also exists in the gay world, the guys. Um, but yeah, so switches basically have, I would say, mid masculine and feminine energy. And a femme could be femme on the outside, mask on the inside, and then she's with like a mask that's kind of femme on the inside, and they can switch. That can work. But again, for me, I'm mask and mask. Mask on the inside. I try to be masculine on the outside. And for me, I need a bottom only. Bottom femme energy. Bottom and femme energy. Bottom and femme energy. That works for me. And that's might be where you're at too if you're here on this channel. So the switch won't work with me. It'll only work with me if she's okay with not topping anymore with me. So I've had relationships with girls who were switches a few years back, and they wanted to top me. And I mentioned, like, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm not attracted to that. I'm not attracted to that visual. I don't see myself as partaking in that, and I'm not doing that. Okay. So those relationships with those girls that needed that in their closet, they needed that as part of their palette for their, you know, their activity. I wasn't going to be a good partner for them because I wasn't interested in it. Okay. So we did end up splitting up ways and going our own ways. So again, I can't be with switches unless the switch is willing to give up topping, because that's what I do. And that's just what I'm into. So that's my dynamic. But you might be able to if you're interested in switching too. Okay. So that's the switch. Top. Okay, so some femmes are into topping only, and this is interesting. And I mean, I don't fully understand it, but I think that, yeah, again, a woman who's femme on the outside, mask on the inside, can be with somebody who's masculine on the outside and a bottom. You know, if that's what they're into, that's what they're into. Um, but yeah, so there are femmes that top, femmes that are only into topping. And I will say this does bring up some questions with me because I don't know how the lifespan of those relationships, because the femme is still a femme, and if she might not have a feminine core, she might have a masculine core. I have a masculine core. I'm a masculine center, and if you're here, you most likely have a masculine core too, or you want to develop that. So if that femme on the outside she probably has a masculine core on the inside, if that's how she's operating with her energy and her sexuality. So just saying, because if she had a feminine inner core and she was soft, nurturing, wanted kids, everything you can think of with a femme, and she was all those qualities internally, I don't think that her being a top in a relationship is gonna last, because sometimes women will be in a relationship with a bottom. And like, I was teasing my last girlfriend. I would tell her, "You're gonna top me, right? I want you to try." I would joke her. She knows it's not my preference, but I wanted to challenge her masculine energy. So I would tell her, "You're gonna top me, right?" She's like, "No." She's like, "I mean, maybe I can try, but I don't know." So there are women sometimes, I think, who get in these relationships and they're topping too because that's their partner's preference. And I mean, that might not be sustainable, again, because preferences are preferences, and we need to think long term on what's sustainable. Okay, so this is different preferences in the bedroom.